Simo and Goss for breakfast. Between the lines.
Exactly are the coaches saying in a post-match press conference. Again, here he is. We played it to you before the break, Simo. I want you to dissect this, not so much what he said, but how it was being said from Coxie.
A little bit disappointed. I think to play against a really good footy team with our group, I think to come back and, certainly in the third quarter, and then sort of get to a position in the last quarter and then let it slide the way we did was disappointing, a little bit sour, but I think there's still a lot of things that we need to improve on. We know that.
Thoughts on that? Just his demeanour.
Well, it's back to what I said earlier. It's his first, and from a coaching point of view, it's his first swing. So the build-up would have been really big. Like I said before, the pre-game, the quarter time, the half time, the expectations, hey, listen, we've got Brisbane next and then Fremantle.
Well, when would he be thinking about that?
It just dropped. Sometimes every coach is different, so I'm only talking my experiences on that. But I'd be, once the game's out of reach, and it was 4 or 5 minutes to go, you start thinking then about, okay, messaging. What do I need to tell the players? That's your first priority. What do they need to hear from me after the game? Is it, boys, we had a swing, not good enough, work to do, keep going. I saw some really good things today. So recover well because we've got Brisbane next week. That's or is it, that was terrible? What was that? Look at yourselves, bring your mouth, go, all those type of things. You do, the messaging and your preparation for the next week might kick in while you're in the coach's box looking at the last 5 minutes. Get people off the ground, shut the game down, protect the scoreboard, all those things come into play. And then you might start thinking about things like, geez, if we don't win next week or the week after, we're 0-3 in my first, you just don't know where it stops. You correct yourself a little bit, but then you talk to the players, that message is important, and then the next piece is your press conference. And you do get some media feedback, so the media messaging, okay, what's happening, what happened in the game, what happens, is anything jumped out that I need to address? I'm not going to get ambushed. So you go through that meeting, and then when you do your press conference, you're talking to your fans and your supporters, but you're also talking to your players, the board, the CEO. So what all that happens, Dean's first go at it, it's a bit different. He'll get to a level where he knows all that and he just goes bang and projects whatever he needs to. He sounded really disappointed, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was like, that was,
That's very un-Dean Cox.
Well, he was with us as an assistant coach and as a player, and he was like, we're going to win by 10 goals today. And I was like, mate,
Temper.
Just cool down a bit. You're our ruck coach. So and I saw him in the box with Horse so many times celebrating little things like it was, fantastic performance. And now he's just taking on a lot more. So that he'll reflect on that. Whether that's fine. He takes that in his stride. Or okay, next time I need to make sure I just give us a bit of bounce because it's round one. It's the first. It's the start of a marathon. Yep, let's give me some good things to look at. We're in that game. And 3/4 they were in that game, and we let it slip against a really good side. So. Yeah, interesting how he develops in his press conference. He
had this to say about Sam Wicks, which I found was really positive. So there was a bit of the flip and the flop about Dean Cox. This is what he had to say about Sam Wicks' performance.
I thought Sam Wicks was unbelievable. I thought he had a really, really strong game. When you talk, I said to the players before that his ability to be able to get changed in a pre-season and go from trying to create goals to cut very, very crafty small forwards out of the game. He's had a great pre-season, and he took that into, when you talk about what Watson was able to do for a long period of time towards the back end of last year and in finals, and then for Sam to be able to cut that out. And then also generate a little bit of ball was very impressive.
It was. Wicks was very good, and Watson had career lows in all facets. But as a coach, just because we are talking between the lines, is there a balance between pumping a player up too much in the public eye rather than to what he said to the players?
So that shows you that he's ready for the conversations from a public position to get into that space and pump up a player who's changed his role player, cutting his teeth. You wouldn't be saying about McGovern, if it's like, well done on doing your job, mate. You're a good player. Get on with it. But if it's someone who's got a specific role, it's going to get acknowledged on Monday, and you want to give him a bit of gratitude in front of the public eye. That's definitely smart.
Craig McRae and Collingwood got absolutely flogged, but he, as always, was up and about.
Yeah, well, this is the time of the year that you can prepare yourself for this, the early season, but then you get yourself in a position where you get feedback. And then you've got to do it again 6 days later. We're excited to get back to our fans, back at the MCG. Dan Houston's ready to go, playing his old team. So, we've got to lick our wounds and just move quickly. This is AFL footy. You play good opposition away from home in hot conditions, and we're well and truly prepared for this.
There you go. There's a difference there, isn't there, between someone who's been there, done that, understands what's probably going to come from the public position and goes, no, we're going to stay on this path of positivity. There is a level, though, before it becomes spin. So you just got to be careful when you're not, completely pushing everything under the rug and going, no, nothing to see here, we're going to be fine. But I would expect that that's real. Yeah, we're looking forward to the next 6 days. It's a long year. Get to play in the G in front of our home fans. Got some good players coming back. Let's go. And I would have thought perhaps that's the message after the game he would have said to the players. Because quite often you do regurgitate what you say to the players to the press.
He got some credits in the bank, but I don't know. They got flogged.
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
And now he's talking about MCG, Dan Houston, our fans. We can't wait. Great challenge, blue bar blue.
Well, what do you want him to say?
Well, that is spin, though, isn't it?
What would you like him to say?
That was a very poor start to the year. We clearly looked underprepared.
Well, yeah.
Well, people can see it.
Yeah. Look, it's what is it? What do you need to project to win next week?
Honesty.
Yeah. And honesty might have been there a little bit post game, but I'm not quite sure if that's what he believes. So I think his honesty is, we got beaten by a better side who looked up and about. Let's get some good players back and go. Like, the belief in that club, for them to do what they've done in the draft and the recruiting and to have the performances they've had in the past is high. It's a high belief system. And if you start wavering, then what are you going to do at round 3?
Between the lines, that's my favourite segment right there.